All right. So welcome anyone who's willing to watch this. This is going to be a Pathfinder game in a pretty universal setting, but the setting that will be causing this kind of freedom was called the Adventurers Nexus, a city that resides on the astral plane or I shouldn't say astral plane, but the astral sea. And this is a pretty diverse city that draws resources from many planes and dimensions and possibly realities, though that hasn't been explored yet from our current adventures. So we're gonna start this by, since everyone's a new adventurer and this is the first mission that has ever occurred, you all be meeting with Sergeant Pennyworth, who is calling who has had couriers sending you letters and telling you to meet him at a specific time of day, the next day, tomorrow. So whatever preparations or items you're willing to buy them now. The only thing that's on the letter is that you're potentially going to be hunting some minor sentient creatures or wild beasts as your first mission. So use that to do whatever purchases you may need to do, if any. And okay.
I think I did all my shopping already, and I don't really have money to buy anything else. Like, I don't think 11 gold buys me a health potion, does it?
No.
Right. So
25 gold will.
no, I don't have that though. So good.
Okay. So all of you eventually arrive at the designated location, which is the southwestern gate. And some of you told you that you don't have permission to go to those gates unless you are being summoned there. So you keep your letters as part of some symbol. And when the guards intercept you, and they're not really guards, they seem like retainers, more like, just with armed. They're wearing nice clothing, but they carry a weapon on them. And when you show them the seal of Sergeant Pennyworth, they let you in. And you meet him in front of this large gate. This gate could probably fit a colossal creature if it really wanted to. Like these doors are huge and inscribed with powerful magical seals. And he looks over to you and he pulls out this scroll in front of himself. And he is reading the names, and as I read them off, or as Sergeant Pennyworth reads them off, you will introduce yourselves. He says, Tyron Cross.
Yes.
Feel free to introduce your character and his race and what he is.
I'm Tyron Cross. Pretty standard human. But some interesting psychic themed abilities. Class is Soul Knife.
Okay, anything that he's carrying or not carrying?
I'm not carrying a weapon or shield.
Bark. Okay, so he reads the next one.
I have a crossbow.
Oh, okay. So you have a crossbow at least.
Yeah.
He reads, looks down, and he says, Jubei.
Jubei steps up. Jubei. It's me.
He looks down from the scroll. Yeah, I get it. So, please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us what you are.
I'm Jubei. Jube's character is a sorcerer of 3D bloodline, so see that his eyes kind of glow a little reddish, and he's got a little bit of a kind of orangish tinge to his skin besides the green that normally goblins have. He's only about 4 feet high. He wears regular clothes, and he's just kind of an asshole a little bit. But other than that, he'll work through that later. That's it.
All right. He looks down. He looks at his scroll again, and he says, "Neri."
My name is Neri Dracalis, and I am a wyvern and a sorceress, and I stand 7'8" tall when I'm like upright, when I walk upright. I weigh 225 pounds. I have a long tail. I have my wings on my arms because I'm a wyvern, and I am more comfortable walking on my forearms because that's just more comfortable for my balance, you know. And I'm not wearing armor, not really. And you don't need armor in the sky, you know. And I am wearing a morning star and backpack and all the like pouches and stuff. That is basically what you see. And the thing on her head is like basically how much you remove, so she doesn't really have a spike on her head. So that's it.
Okay. And he then says, "Sukio."
Sukio step up a little bit and hold up her one hand, like I'm here type thing. She's a pretty petite little woman. She's got long white hair, and her clothes, especially at the ends, are a little bit tattered. She's holding a lantern staff in one hand. She looks human right now, but she is actually a kitsune. And she is an oracle, which is why her hair is white. And when she is in her true form, her fur is also white as well.
Okay.
So cool.
And he looks at the sheet, and another woman kind of joins your lineup. And he looks at her, and he says, "You're late, Elizabeth." And he closes his scroll in this metal case, and she's just huffing and puffing because she's just had to run a long way. She says, "Sorry, was busy collecting my things." And he says, "This is Elizabeth Oros. She's, well, an unlikely candidate for an adventurer. More so a commoner, so do what you can to keep her safe. She's not that strong."
All right.
He says, "As well as a Tyron, he's an experienced adventurer, but he is quite in the mortal realms. So, though he is experienced, so don't look too down on him." And he looks at the three of you, and he says, "As you all probably are aware of, at least the two of you, you're all part of the elite roster. So everyone's looking to you for guidance and support. So keep an eye out and be vigilant."
Right.
All right.
Now, getting that out of the way, your mission could potentially be simple, or it can be potentially difficult, depending on what you end up hunting. Now, our farmstead has been going on some localized attacks, and we're not quite sure what exactly is going on and attacking them. We believe them to be kobolds, but it could be any reptilian. We have had a lot of them working at the farmstead lately. It's possible that they could have formed some sort of group, and you know how kobolds get when they get too rowdy and large in a pack.
Sounds like fun.
So the first order of business is to identify your enemy and find them. If it's potentially kobolds, alert the guard, or you can try to take them out yourself. Either way.
All right.
This is strict. This is not strictly a scout mission. If you believe you can remove the problem, I'm sure the town will have its own beneficial rewards set aside for the other party that will likely send, or even you, if you seem to grow in strength over the adventure.
Okay.
But enough talk. Let's get you sent to Elestradis Farmstead. And he waves to this large golem standing off to the side. There's these
Oh, I have a
two-
question.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Can I, like, I know I don't have a flight permit. Can I fly, please? Or do I have to walk?
He says you can fly once you're at the farmstead.
Okay.
He says just be careful. Nobody is going to really expect a flying, flaming wyvern floating around. You might freak a couple people out.
I guess you're right. That happens a lot. Okay.
He points to the golem and waves at it and says, "Hey, it's time to open the door." And the golem looks down, reaches over, and this is a larger iron golem. They're typically huge creatures, but this one is gargantuan, and it reaches over, and it's standing about 26 feet tall, and it reaches over and pulls the door open just a little bit, and there's this blinding light that you can't really see through from the door opening, and it just opens essentially a small creek, like there's a small slit that opens up, but it's large enough for all of you to easily fit inside.
Okay, I'll start walking forward.
So as you guys are getting ready to leave and kind of just staring at this light, Sergeant Pennyworth looks to Tyron and he says, "Now, since you're a standard adventurer, I think you'll need a little bit more help than the others. So just in case." And he gives you a potion of cure light wounds.
Cool.
All right, appreciate it.
And he looks to Elizabeth and he says, "Now, I know you're no fighter. And I know that you're not well prepared for this sort of thing. So I've been authorized to give you special assistance." And he gives her a potion of mage armor and gives her a potion of cure light wounds. And Elizabeth is very thankful and repeats that gesture many times before Sergeant just holds his hand up and to tell her to stop. He says, "Now, get moving. Time's wasting." And he thinks about it for a second, or some sort of time relevancy bullshit. I don't know. I'm not a wizard. So you all go through the blinding light.
Yep.
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 I'll crouch. Walk, whatever.
All right. So you all go through this blinding light as the two of you kind of put your potions on your belt pouch. And when you get to the other side, you are met with these rolling hills sculpted into kind of like little steep slopes, large buildings, small families at each of the buildings, large fields. Not large what you'd expect nowadays, because we don't exactly have tractors or anything, but they're large enough for that one or two people can man them without having too much difficulty. You do notice many ranches and other stables and barns that have animals accompanying them. And you notice that the guard is not like uniform guards. It just seems like other adventurers patrolling the roads, and you can see that they all have like ranged weaponry, and even some of them are mounted. You're given specific instructions to go to the Temple of Shanti, that is in the middle of town. And you
Okay.
can see the temple. It's got this large little bread basket with food just kind of coming out of it. And it's very easy for you to notice. It's the largest building inside this farmstead.
All right. So we'll head up there.
Is there only the sign of Shanti?
No, it's a whole temple.
Yeah, but like not saying the name or what it is or that, or would we just know? Probably not, right? Or
Well,
yes.
it really depends on your character. The person you are told to go to the temple. If your character wouldn't know what the Temple of Shanti would look like,
No,
then
like the religion-wise, not the temple. Like, I mean, yeah,
you wouldn't.
but what, like religion-wise, what it is and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you guys, if you guys want to know that, or lack of not knowing that, then you can roll me religion checks.
All right.
Now, where the hell is religion at? What does that go on?
Knowledge, religion, yeah.
21.
Okay.
11.
Oh, fuck. 6?
So, if you got less than 5, you just kind of know Shanti's name. You know that she's a good god, but she has something to do with food, but nothing in particular. If you got in between 5 and 10, then you would know that Shanti is a god of for farmers, as well as many people follow under her, but for no particular reason. It seems like if you got 11 to 15, you would know that Shanti is obviously the goddess of farmers and bountiful harvest. So it makes sense that all these farmers would be praising a god that would be supporting their activities, as well as providing clerics to do just that, which seems to be the case, as you do notice some followers walking around. And I don't think anyone got 16 to 20.
I got 21.
Yeah. So with the 21, you would know that the goddess is obviously all those things before. You would notice that there's many people who have like these signs out, and you know that they are kind of just like they're actually the reverse of wards. So they are actually inviting spirits to help, like to encourage spirits to come by to help their crops. And you do kind of feel that their energies are present. So you know that you also see from where you are, you can see the ransacked farm that they have also.
Yeah.
And so you can see that farm from where you are, and you notice that sensing the same energies that are kind of around that, you like feel this gap kind of around there, like that Shanti has not like been protecting that land, or it's
Just
moved
created
on.
it.
Yeah, it's like the god has stopped watching that area, which seems to make little sense if they're all kind of warded or invited.
All right. I pointed over that way. I said, "There's a gap in Shanti's presence over there. We need to start there." Well, that's Farmstead, anyways. I can feel it. So, can't you guys feel the presence of the good spirits?
Not really, but I believe you, Jubei. You always seem to know what you're talking about. So, let's go.
It's because I read it in the book. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. I don't read a lot.
Yeah, we'll have to change that. We need to make you smarter.
Okay. How do we do that?
Lots of work.
I can do work.
I know you can. He pats you on the head. It's okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
he has to reach up to pat you on the head.
Yeah.
I'm like, You mind if I climb on your shoulders?
No.
All right, so I'll climb up on top of her shoulders and catch a ride.
Right, and I walk over there. Wherever he points me to.
Right there.
Okay.
All right. As you walk by some of the other adventurers patrolling the road, they kind of laugh, but only one of the cavaliers says, "Interesting choice of mount, Goblin."
Best kind, the one that's helpful.
Says, "My steed has plenty of uses."
So mine does too. Mine's pretty too.
It's all about perspective, I guess.
Hey, I can hear you.
I complimented you. You're prettier than a
Well,
home.
I know, but no. Where are we going again?
Over there.
Right.
As a cavalry passes by, it says, "Have you had any problems from that area over there since the attack?"
Not since the attack. It doesn't look like they meant to burn anything. It seems like it's some sort of accident for the most part. Though the animals that have been stolen from that place have, from what I can tell from the rangers that were there, they said it was pretty intentional. Though I'm not really looking into it. Guard duty and all.
That's fine. Appreciate it.
And him and his companion start walking off.
Keep up the good work.
Right.
Save that house. You did.
So, do you have 2 places to visit so far?
Yeah. Which one is closer, the temple or the house?
They're pretty close by, but the temple would be closer.
All right. We need to go there first anyways, don't we?
Yeah.
So we'll hit there. Unless anybody wants to shoot over there. The house first.
While they were stopped talking to that cavalier, I was tying a bow on the tip of Neri's tail, trying to do it so she wouldn't notice.
A bow?
Yep.
Fair enough. What should I roll for this if I notice? Perception.
Roll me perception. Roll me perception versus sleight of hand.
I have perception +4. Okay, you can beat this. What did you roll?
23 sleight of hand.
I rolled a 9.
So yeah, he doesn't. You think she notices a couple times when she kind of flicks her tail awkwardly, as she kind of gets a little fumigated over the mixed compliment and banter between the mounts. Though once you finish the bow, you realize she's completely unaware of your activities, and now she has this bow, this ribbon on her tail.
I'm gonna have to find you a magical ribbon.
Well, let's head to the temple or wherever we're headed.
Yep.
Yes, let's.
So, making your way to the temple, a lot of people are obviously a little suspicious of the Wyvern, but nothing outright against any of you. And you enter the temple, and there's a lot of priests around, but one of them is standing there with what looks like some sort of great mace, and he has it slung over his shoulder, and He says, "Oh, there you are.
Hey, father.
I'm not quite the father of this place. I'm another adventurer, just like you.
Oh.
But I have more authority over the situation than he does."
What's
Good
going
day.
on?
He says, "Thanks. It's not quite great. One of the farms was attacked, obviously, which is why you're here. We've done some minor investigating, and I can tell you that they've head off to the northeast, which is unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, where many of the kobolds and the residents reside. But I wouldn't get too aggressive with them just yet. Nothing's confirmed, though it does. All the evidence does point to them doing it.
Kobolds, aren't those like little dragons? Dragon creatures?
Yes,
Oh.
they're descendants of dragons, typically red ones.
Okay.
Well, maybe I can talk to them.
Likely, they are. They don't out in the public. They're not very aggressive.
Have you guys had a lot of run-ins with them before?
Well, not normally. They usually run. They're the primary workforce, I would say. So it's not like they're the only ones working on the farms. But if you need an extra hand, people usually go to the kobolds because they're looking to do anything. And usually their crimes range from small petty thefts, shiny baubles that get their attention. They grab it off the shelf. It's nothing too serious. But which is why I'm afraid to actually, proclaim the entire group as the offender.
I see. All right. Have you had any problem with any particular kobolds by name?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Oh, we need to run an investigation.
Any is it just one group of kobolds or is there different tribes?
There's different tribes. So the one clan, which is Sharptooth, they run the whole place. They have been known to be aggressive, but I guess it's particular for their red dragon blood. They control most of the other kobolds, which allows them to form their own kind of guard. I would say it's more like a militia.
Okay.
There's the blue kobolds, which call themselves the Short Fang, which they're more of the politicians. They're the ones that usually talk to us for their community. And you'll potentially see how cunning they are once you actually talk to them.
Okay.
And then there's the white kobolds, which are from obviously white dragons, and they are the main workers. There's not many of them, as they are considered runts of the community, but they do a lot of scavenging and stealing, and I'm hoping that they didn't get too desperate enough to where they would just attack a farm.
Okay. What's the name of their clan?
I don't think they have one. They're too small to really form one, and Sharptooth kind of keeps them disorganized.
Okay.
It's kind of a strange civil oppression. We've tried to intercept them before, but they've made it very clear that they don't want our help. So, and the white white kobolds seem to make a point that they don't want our help either. So we've been forced to kind of standing aside.
Okay. Do they have place that they hold up? Are they all in the same area, like as far as like living?
Yes, we constructed this huge warehouse for them, and they just love it there. They've built a lot of things in there, but it's mostly tribalistic, since kobolds aren't. They know how to build their traps, but anything outside of that, and they just don't know what to do with their materials.
Okay. Cool. How far of a travel is it from here?
It's on the edge of town. The mayor had made it very clear that he doesn't want them at the heart of town, which I think would have made things a little easier on them, but so they have a long way to get. You have a long way to get to even talk to them.
Okay. One more question. Is there any other races around that tend to influence them?
Well, we do work with orcs and half orcs and even hobgoblins and other goblins. They might have picked up a few tricks from them, but I don't think they would be really competing like that.
So nothing like a ringleader, basically.
If there is a ringleader, then I wouldn't know about it.
Okay.
It could be possible that someone's antagonizing the kobolds to do stuff, but they haven't talked about it or are willingly going with it.
Okay, it's understood. I guess that's it.
Hey,
That's all the
Jimmy,
questions I have.
maybe we should talk to the ones that run the place. I mean, they sound pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Good idea. We definitely will.
Oh, yeah, right. Did everyone get that? Like to the rest of the party.
Yeah.
I did. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, you're welcome. Well,
You're
what's
so
that
welcome.
I tell? She would have turned around to look at you.
Oh, you've had that since we left. I thought you'd put it on yourself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I must have forgot. That's pretty. Huh. Okay, let's go.
Okay. You guys aren't objected to it. I'd like to go look at that farmhouse. Figure maybe we'll find some clues there.
The one that we're currently, like you mean
No,
the warehouse?
No, the farmhouse, the one that got burned down.
Oh.
Where the animals were stolen.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Let us go look.
All right, so you guys start heading off, and the cleric stops Elizabeth for a moment, and he says, "I notice you don't hold yourself the same way as them, so it seems that you may be in need of some divine protection." And you see him cast a spell towards her, and she just gets sheathed in this protective divine energy.
Can I tell what it is?
Roll me spellcraft. Arcana. This isn't 5e.
I got a 19.
You know he's casted an extremely extended and heightened aid on her. This gives her a D8, which gives her a D8 in temporary hit points, as well as boosts her attack, and and some skill checks.
That's gonna help. I asked him, "Hey, can you do that for the rest of everybody else?"
He says,
Doesn't have to be as powerful as just might help us out.
He says, I don't think you need it. She just seems to be less of a combatant than the rest of you. No offense.
Not taken. I figured she'd be right next to me when we start having problems.
He shrugs and he says, "I'm just following the instructions of the sergeant as of right now. I heard one of you was essentially a commoner just trying to expand their skills, and I'm assuming she's the one." I'm assuming that the rest of you have gone on many adventures before this.
In our own way, yeah.
Then I believe that you can hold your own.
That would be.
I can even hold a jubei.
He says, I can give you guys another blessing. And he casts an also extremely heightened and extremely extended bless on the 4 of you. And you all have a +1 to attack bonuses and +1 to resisting fear effects.
Thank you, my good man. You're a blessing to everybody.
The bless and the aid will last 8 hours.
Sweet.
I feel so blessed.
You are.
And he says, let Shanti's light allow you to grow and prosper.
I'm sure she will. Shanti!
So to the farmhouse, the not existing farmhouse anymore, right?
Yes.
She just fucking starts walking there, following her nose.
Sniff, 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 sniff.
Well, just like I meant the direction that her nose points at.
So it doesn't take much effort to find the farmstead. You've already located it already. So you just walk there. And of course, you just see what looks like a pretty typical looking ranger examining some of the tracks, and he's standing on there's like a back porch of the hut, and you see what looks like a farmer standing on it, and you can see that there is like 2 kids and a woman inside, and you do see one of the white kobolds standing with the farmer, and they're talking to each other. Again, this is not plowed land. It seems like this was a ranch, and
Okay.
looks like there's been a lot of animals in here at one point. Of course, now they're all gone. There's a bit of blood spattered that you can obviously see.
Okay. So the farmer is talking with one of the white kobolds.
Yeah.
I walk up to them with jubei on my back.
I'll climb down. Hello, sir. Are you the owner of this land?
Yes, I am. We'll talk later. Why don't you return home? And the kobold yaps at him and starts running away.
Oh no.
I'm like, can you hold for a minute, Mr. White Kobold?
The white kobold stops and kind of jumps off the porch, but stands on the ground. And the farmer says, "Now, what can I do for you?"
He says, well, I was just sent over here to make sure that everything is all right, find out what's going on. What can you tell me about the predicament?
And he says, "Well, I heard my pigs rustling up a storm out here, and I decided to look out my window, and I see a lot of shadowy movement going on down there. I get my crossbow and I get my lamp, and I head down here, and by the time I get down here, all my pigs are gone."
Well, hot damn.
Well, and that there was a fire starting, and he points to the side of his porch, and you can see that it's got some black scorch marks on it. And he says, "I managed to get a bucket and put it out first, but by the time I got all that done, I lost sight of them."
Jubei's shaking his head yes as he's telling them that. I see. Well, you did a fine job saving your home. I see your family's all right. I heard there was somebody injured.
Who said that?
I don't know. Just thought I heard it somewhere. If not, then I'm just very happy. Pray to what's the god's name over here again?
Gandhi.
Shanti?
Praise to Shanti that nobody got hurt too bad. It says, but I really am sympathetic about you losing all your hogs. He says, which way do they head?
I wouldn't know. I was busy putting out the fire.
Oh, that's terrible. What about your family? Did your nice wife here or any of your children actually, by chance, see which way they might have moved out?
I never really considered it. I told them to stay inside and make sure they were ready to leave if the fire got too bad.
Yes, sir. But I know my mother. If she was in the same predicament, she would probably peek every once in a while just to make sure that you were all right. You know, she might have saw something that could help us out. We could figure this out pretty quickly.
He shakes his head. He says, well, I don't know who your mother is, but he says if she saw something, she would have been. He looks over, and I think he was standing right around there. And he points through the window, and from where you can see, you can see that she would have been standing near the front door, which can actually let her see outside.
Neri pokes Kobold with her hand.
Kobold, of course, yaps at you, and he says in Draconic, "Don't touch."
Well, she answers in Draconic. What's your name?
Oh, my name?
Right.
Oh, my name. Farmer called me Rick.
Rick. Right. Cool. Me, I am Neri. You are Rick. Okay.
Rick the Dick.
Okay.
Do you know what happened here? She's saying that all in Draconic, obviously.
No. I was away.
Do you hear about the tragedy, though?
What tragedy?
Like the fire and that pigs were stolen?
That no tragedy.
know. Yeah?
It's
Sorry.
bad time. Bad time. Bad time. Bad time for boss. But no tragedy.
Who's your boss?
The farmer.
Oh, yeah, bad time. Yeah, sure. That makes sense. But do you know who did that? Who was that? Was that another human?
I don't know. I wasn't here.
Well, you haven't heard anything about that? No rumors? I mean, I like to talk a lot, and if I saw something, I would probably talk about it.
Roll me persuasion.
I'm really good at that. Give me a second. I need to. Where is it? Oh, why is it not on my list? Fuck. That goes on charisma, right?
Yep.
Okay. I think that's. Yep. Oh, natural 20, 27.
Okay, he stares at you a little too long, and you see him like kind of grow this nice little smile. He's swooning a bit. Then he says, "Okay, I'll tell you, but you didn't hear from Rick."
No.
He says, "The Sharp-Tooth clan has been getting a lot of pressure lately from the Blue Dragon, the Short Fang clan, about not having enough food to keep everyone happy, and we don't make enough gold. We don't make enough shinies to keep everyone fed. So they have been quite aggressive lately and have thought about going hunting, but we need special permission to go hunting as big human people. They tell us to not go hunting because it's already bad population, whatever that means."
I see. Well, I understand. I didn't hear anything, Rick, but I understand. And she winks at him.
He blushes and he's like, "Good, good. You know, no, Rick not tell you nothing."
Right. Now, and she turns around to the others and she asks, like, "Is there anything else we need from this random cobalt?"
Okay, I'm just gonna roll something for like a second. You turn around to go talk to everyone else, and he gets shoved over by your tail. He's like,
Jubia cast Mage Hand and hold him up.
you pull him out
sorry.
from underneath the tail.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That just happens sometimes. I'm still a
I'll
little
dust
bit
him off.
clumsy.
You're dusting him off, and he pets the tail, and he's like, "No, me like tail."
Wait, what?
Well, no one else understands him, but he says in Draconic, "Me like tail," and he pets your tail.
Can I roll? Can I roll perception? Can I roll perception to see if I understand his meaning behind that?
You can roll me a linguistics.
Okay. I actually have that. I got a 29.
Oh yeah, you don't know the language outright, but you do piece the words together.
Okay. So how does the linguistic skill work? Does that mean I can pick up the language in bits and pieces, or does it just means I get to understand it more, but not speak it?
You can speak and understand the language, but it's more like a broken conversation. Like if you were to talk to somebody who had it as maybe like a fourth language and they were speaking broken sentences to you, that would be like using linguistics. It's like you understand what they're saying and you're trying to communicate the words, but you don't actually know the words, so you're kind of making words up, and they have to try to understand you as well. Oh,
okay. Cool. I'll say to him, very nice tail. Yes. Tell him long tail.
Neri pets him on the head with her tail, with the bow on top.
Smacking to the ground again.
No, not smacking, like patting, you know.
I know, but
he just grabs your tail.
Okay.
You kind of drag him along the ground a bit.
Hey, do you want to accompany us? She says in Draconic.
He lets go and he shakes his head. He says, "Nope, Rick tell you nothing. Rick not help you."
Right, I don't even know your name. And she winks again.
Right, me know your name. Jerk.
Sweetheart.
Right. All right. Well, if we don't need anything else, then this random kobold that I don't know the name of can go, right?
Yeah. See you later, Rick.
He says, "I don't know you." Oh,
I don't know you either, Rick. Just go.
He screams away.
Rick the dick. So, sir, would you mind ask you permission to speak to your wife for just a second?
He says, "Sure.
All right.
Just no funny business."
No, sir. No, sir. I promise I will not make any kind of move or nothing like that. I respect you as a man. I will not talk to your wife in any kind of bad way.
All right.
He'll mosey over to the wife.
He opens the door for you.
Okay.
You go in.
He turns back around and moseys back over to the door because he thought he was. And he'll walk in the house. Ma'am, how are you? My name is Jubei. May I speak with you for just a second?
Oh, can I come with you?
No, you're too big.
My name is Mary. How can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. I understand that you had a bunch of ruckus out here last night. But I wanted to ask you, by some chance, did you poke your eyeball out that window or the door and just see anything while you were checking up on your husband putting out that fire on your porch? Did you see anything out in the field that could help me to investigate what happened last night and who was responsible?
She says, no, I didn't see anything. It was really dark out there, and he told me to stay inside. I looked through the window, yeah, but it was too dark for me to see anything.
Okay. Did you see anything? Did you see the pigs when you looked outside out in the dark?
Well, they were outside of their pen, so I saw them leaving when I was getting down here when the fire started.
Right. Now, did you see anything shadowy type figures around them while they were moving?
No. I mean, the pigs were quite large, but whatever was antagonizing them wasn't doing anything. Like, I didn't see what was out there with them.
Well, I know it was really dark, and you probably couldn't make out what was going on as far as who was maybe moving them. But if you saw any shadows that didn't look like a pig, that you can tell just maybe like how big they were compared to the pigs, that would help me out some.
She shakes her head. She says, I didn't see anything. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. It helps me out also. Thank you very much for your time. And he'll walk back out, moseying. He'll keep his hands on his side like if he was going to grab pistols.
Yeah, just to throw it out there, her and the kids, they all rolled 3s and 4s on their perception, so they didn't see shit. They barely saw each other.
Is there any way of helping them out? No, huh? No,
not really. The only way would be to help them kind of remember the moment that happens, but I don't think any of you have spells like that.
No, I don't. I could try hypnotizing her. But I don't think I could do that. I don't think I have the skill for that anyways.
Can I, at the corner of the porch where it started to catch on fire, can I cast Detect Magic?
Yeah, you can. You cast Detect Magic, and the whole area is kind of like faintly lit up. The scorch marks are not magical by any means, so the area around you is just glowing this bright green, and you can tell it's under some sort of transmutation effect. And you do see that the little ward that they have hanging off the house, it's you can see another one, and it's in your range on another house, and it's got magical energy around it, but the other one, the one that is on this house, it doesn't. So you think it's been disenchanted.
There seems to be magic on these houses, but not on this one. The ward seems to be unenchanted. It's odd, don't you think?
Yeah, that is kind of weird. Jubio cast Mage Hand and grab it from where it's at and bring it down.
Okay. You grab the ward and you're looking at it. The farmer is he gets ready to say something, but he kind of remembers that you're hired to investigate stuff, so he just keeps his mouth shut.
I'll say, yes, sir. What do you got?
He says, I just want you to be careful with it.
Yes, sir. This one has actually been deactivated. It is not working. He says, and I want to find out why, because if it was, then what happened last night probably wouldn't have happened.
Easy.
And this also gives me the attention of trying to get another one for your home.
He says, if the thing is magical, then I guess I should go talk to the temple about it. I'll go see them with it.
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't know it was disenchanted, or
Yes,
that
sir.
it was even enchanted at all. And he scratches the back of his head.
He says, do you have a piece of paper and a ink pen?
Yeah, I have paper. That's a pen.
Or something to write with? A pencil or chalk?
I got a
Charcoal?
quill and ink. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Can I use that?
Yeah, he goes inside and he grabs you this small parchment and this
All right.
ink and
He'll
quill.
just write a note out to the cleric that their ward was out, and whatever other information that they found out. He says, "Can you hand that to the cleric when you go up there, and tell him that I'm going to keep this ward for just a little bit, so that way, if there's any information that we need to get off of this while we're out investigating. But I'm sure that he will make sure that you get another ward put up here in your house."
A ward is kind of like
It's
is
cast here.
it's kind of like a barrier in some sense. In D&D, it's most likely a barrier, but in this sense, it's kind of like a hollowed ground. It's more like a disincentive.
Is it an object?
It's an object. Yeah, it looks like this little. It looks like a little chime, and a sort of like a dream catcher. It's got this web of line. It's got these silver linings that are kind of going across it, but it's actually just this really fine string.
So I really don't need to keep this. I could just hand it to him. He could take it back up there and have it worked on.
Yeah.
Okay. He said, "Sorry about that. Strike that. Reverse it. Here you go. Take this, and they'll fix that for you."
He says, "Okay, I'll do that right away. I don't want this to happen again, I guess."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We don't want any kind of harm coming to you and your fine family.
Yeah, I'll be going now. That ranger over there, he's been doing the tracking for the animals. So
Yes, sir. I'm going to go talk to him in just a little bit. I just want to assure you that me and my compadres here are going to check this out for you, because we care about your safety.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Let me get this straight. You're in the house, right? And we're all outside, right? And we're on our own, basically, right? Is that correct?
So I probably would have came back outside of the house to talk to the farmer, because I think he was outside the house still, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was out on the porch.
Yeah, I was out
watching all of you.
Was he still with us, though? Or could I have talked with the group in, like, kind of private?
Oh, you can talk to him. That's fine.
Well, you can talk in private now, because the farmer is leaving.
Yeah.
Well, then it is now the moment when no one else is around that neighbor will tell everyone what she heard. Not specifically from the kobold. She's trying to hide that, but of course everyone knows it's from the kobold. So I heard somewhere. And then she's gonna tell them that whatever I wrote down, like about the clients and all that. If you want to reread it, she's gonna relay that.
Okay. So she tells you all that the clans have been having a bit of tension between each other because the white kobolds don't make enough gold. The blue kobolds are, well, obviously not doing a whole lot and just trying to keep the group together, the clans together. And the Sharptooth clan, Sharptooth clan is getting a little fed up because they are, they also want to keep the three clans together, but they don't really have the resources to do it, and they're kind of being held back by the Farmstead.
Okay.
So maybe we should talk to the Sharptooth clan, because it sounds to me like the Sharptooth clan is behind all that.
Yeah.
That would be easy. I mean, they cannot hunt, they're starving, so I would hunt too, like if I was hungry,
Yeah.
And if I wasn't allowed to hunt, I would probably take the easiest bait and prey, not bait. Well, I would go for bait too. But, I mean, caged pigs are like really easy. I can see that.
We should probably talk to the ranger too before we go. He's using his normal voice again.
The ranger seems to have stopped tracking for now and seems to be waiting to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I'll walk over. Yes. Hey.
Hey.
How you doing? I'm Jubei.
All right. So you're the adventurers I've been waiting for.
Yes, sir. What can you tell us?
Well, what I can tell you is that the pigs have been moved over that way. And he points to the northwest. And
Okay.
he says, "What I know, that heads towards the Kobold area, but I haven't tracked all the way over.
Okay.
So it may take, if you want to wait for me, it may take me an hour or two to go follow the trail completely. But I'll be honest, it's if the kobolds did this, they didn't really have much physical interaction with this place." He says there's a few reptilian tracks here, but they don't really lead anywhere. So they either they try to sneak, they followed the pigs stealthily, or someone put these here.
So, in your honest opinion, you think might be something else besides kobolds that did this? Kobolds are not that smart enough.
Well, from what I can tell, he points to the fence, and he says that thing was busted down by a large object, and it wasn't cut; it was kind of smashed down. So the person doing it would have to be pretty strong to do so, and I don't think a kobold could cut it.
No.
And he says, and honestly, the tracks don't go far from this place, and he kind of starts following it. You follow him for a little bit, and he says they kind of just disappear from here. So I think whatever took them probably put them in some sort of sack and carried them away.
Could that have been orcs, Sir Ranger?
Well, I think orcs would have even difficult time with the size of these pigs. Perhaps something larger.
Do you have any other creature that is like able to do this here around?
Control nature?
No, because you don't really have enough evidence.
Okay.
He says, from my understanding of the local population, of at least the villagers, there is a few ogres that live in this place, as well as some giants.
Are they hostile?
A giant. Well, it's part of the townspeople. So.
Oh.
Would giants or ogres have magic?
Not likely.
Well,
Maybe
something
they were working
messed up the
together.
warps. Could be.
Maybe they were working together and they were paying each other, and there's a whole plot. Like, I don't know.
I'm just like, hey, why don't you track, and we'll follow behind a little ways until you get done, and then you can tell us what you find. That seems to be probably the best course of action. Maybe, unless anybody else has any other ideas.
Didn't the trek get cold? So?
He says it stops here.
Yeah.
Like
there's nothing else here.
He says, I do see signs of, well, magical influence, let's say. That looks like maybe the portal that they used has kind of touched the floor here. And he points out this, like, you wouldn't really notice it without looking too hard, but some of the grass has this very slight blue hue to it.
Okay.
Can I cast detect magic?
Yeah.
Well, I'll do that then.
Okay. Like I said, it's just a trace amount. It doesn't really tell you much.
But does the trail continue? or stuff
No.
like that? Okay.
No, there's no like trail
hmm
that you can follow.
Okay.
Anything else? No, right?
Says not that I'm aware of. Talking to the kobolds might be the best bet.
Right. Let's head to the clan.
All right, and I'd like to take a quick break.
All right. Sounds good. Can we go about 10 minutes?
Yep. So, everyone quietly waits.
Are you gonna kill us with pit traps?
Would I do it again? Possibly. Just such an effective tool. So I think we're just missing Sandra then.
No, I'm here.
Oh. Mm. Well then. Slade, you here?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. So to recap, we're heading to speak to the 2 kobold clans and potentially some white kobolds who are having difficulty raking in money. It's obvious. It's now known to you guys that they are having issues with feeding their clans, and they are too selfish to look for outside help. So let's go off of that.
All right.
And the other thing that you guys know is that the pigs have pretty much vanished, and by magical means, or some other method has been used. So you're heading to this warehouse, and it takes you about 30 minutes to get there. And when you arrive, it's this kobold infested territory, and there's blues and reds and whites running around talking to each other, trading shiny baubles, and it seems like they have their little own economy in here outside of the typical market that is actually in the farmstead. They are running around and just sorting things out. They see you, and some of them are a little wary about the Wyvern, but the other 3 of you, or 4 of you, they don't really acknowledge too much.
Okay.
Eventually, one of the blue ones comes up, and he says, "Ah, adventurers. Right? That's what you are?
Right.
Is he speaking common or draconic?
Common."
Okay.
And he's got blue scales, and he's got these little wings on his back, and he's got this little yellow horn coming out of his head. And he says, "How can I help you?"
Well, some farmer's pigs were stolen the other day, and we were checking out the area, see if you know anything about it.
Oh, well, what makes you think we know about it?
Because you guys work on the farm, and I'm not pointing fingers, just asking to get information. The way they disappeared was a little unorthodox. So, does he seem nervous?
No, he's looking at you with he's got a bit of a frown on his face, or as much of a frown as a large draconic snout can make. He then raises his eye, since he doesn't really have an eyebrow, and he says, "And what makes you think we know anything about it again?"
Why wouldn't we think that you know something about it?
Oh,
I mean, isn't that a
think
fair
we did
assumption?
it then?
No, just that you have information. I mean, you seem like a pretty smart guy, and someone who comes around. I mean, I heard a lot about you.
Me.
No, like you, pretty blue kobolds. You're like the smartest, aren't you?
Roll of persuasion. God damn it.
That's 18.
He's actually gonna beat you. He
Fuck, I rolled an 11.
he kind of smiles a bit, but then he gets serious again and he says, No. I know your little tricks. Silly humans think you can trick me.
I'm not a human, and I'm not trying to trick you.
Well, I can tell you, I don't know anything about what you're talking about. We heard of the attack, yes, and we assumed that people were gonna yell at us about it, so we've just been keeping to ourselves lately.
Okay, well then, what rumors have you heard? What do you know of the attack so far?
Well, besides that they've left no trail. I'm not really sure what more you want me to say about it. It's the investigation, as far as I understand, hasn't gone on for very long.
Do you know anything around here who could make off with those things without leaving a trace?
Well, none of us.
Well, obviously, my dear.
So there was damage done to the gate by something a lot larger than what I believe you are all capable of, and then the trail just disappeared. So, is there anything in the area that you believe would do such a thing, and then maybe pin it on the kobolds? You must have suspicions, right?
Roll me a persuasion with +4.
Okay. So what is that on?
Charisma.
Just charisma? Okay.
Yeah.
So it comes out to 27.
He scratches his head and he kind of looks around and he says, yeah, I guess that's kind of bad for us. Well, I'd have to talk to some people, or some other members of my clan, and I'm sure they won't talk to you. You can wait here, or you can come inside the warehouse. It's a public space.
Oh, I want to come with you, please.
Well, just stay in the warehouse.
Okay.
Don't go up the stairs.
What's up the stairs?
More traps.
Oh. Why would you trap your own warehouse? I wouldn't want to trap my cave. Well, sure, for intruders, that makes sense. Okay.
So you guys, you follow them in, and you see the kobolds are walking, and it kind of looks like they're walking in like traffic, like streets and stuff, like on roads, because they are avoiding particular squares of the building, and you see them just avoiding entire spots completely. And some of the spots have like tables and stuff, but nobody ever sits at any of them. And you see people and you see there's these spots, you see these stairs that lead to balconies, but they never take the stairs. And you see them climbing ladders, but then climb up different ladders and moving side to side up these ladders, following specific patterns. And he says, so just try to follow everyone else's movement, or else you'll spring one of them.
Oh, it's like bees.
Yeah. Wow, that hurt. And he flies away. So you see him flying around and landing beside other blue kobolds. And he does this for about 30 minutes. And he lands back in front of you. And he says, all right, so I talked to some guys, and here's what I know. We do have a local wizard who has a giant in his company. Now, I heard he has been running into money problems, as nobody wants to buy his crazy inventions.
Okay.
So from what I can tell, from what they know, that he's capable of opening portals and stepping through them. Now maybe he used that for the pigs and the giant to get them away. I don't know. That's what they're saying, anyways.
Says, do you know where we can find this wizard and friends?
He says he actually lives close to the center of town. He's it's not the library, it's the building next to it. He calls it an arcanum.
Okay.
It's his
So-
personal little tower.
So, what do you think would be his reason? Have you guys had any dealings with him?
He's tried to make dealings with us.
And you guys have said no, or not profitable for you? Like, what kind of dealings has he asked you guys?
He's asked for our bodies, and we told him to go F himself.
Right.
And he's asked us to do his bidding, and he's tried to pay us, but we all know that he's in debt, so we told him that we didn't want anything to do with him.
Right. What kind of bidding was he asking about?
I don't know. Once we told him to go screw himself, he kind of just left it at that.
Oh, so he never hinted at anything at all?
Well, I imagine that he wanted us to do things like steal pigs from pens for him. I mean, if we did something like that, then adventurers like you would have plenty of good reason to kill us. So,
Right. Well, understand that the powers that be don't want to kill you guys off because you provide a workforce for the area. We would just want the particular individuals who did the crime. If you can understand that.
Right.
'Cause we're not. That was our intention from the beginning, was to find out who did it, not to punish all of you.
well, that's good to hear. I'm sure that will be useful.
Right.
Well, with that said, any help that you can give us would be appreciated. Says, but what you give us so far is actually pretty good.
How is the wizard called?
He says, I think he calls himself Gorful.
Dorful?
Gorful.
Gorful.
Okay. What is he human? Is he something else?
I think he's an orc, actually.
There's an orc population around this area too, aren't there?
Yeah. They are usually farmhands, but I think
They don't work for him either? Or they don't like him?
nobody really likes him.
He's a dick
He just asks a lot from people.
without paying.
I guess. I mean,
Well,
he
maybe-
did offer us things, but we refused.
What did he
Because
offer?
Shiny trinkets. I think he tried to sell our leader a magic item, but he doesn't have any gold, so magic items don't really do anything for the whole clan. So
So, And he hangs around with the orcs. Is that a fair assumption?
No, the orcs don't like him too because he's a book reader.
Huh. So, library.
No, he lives in his own arcanum.
We get it. So
I'm not.
we heard a rumor that you're having difficulties feeding your population.
Yeah, we've been trying to replace the adventurers with the Sharptooth clan for patrols, so maybe they can pay us a little extra more.
Mhm.
But they want more capable people, and we don't know what exactly the adventurers are protecting us from, since they clean up their messes very well. And we don't even know if there's fights going on around here. We feel so safe. It seems unbelievable, honestly.
Yeah, with all those traps, I would assume so.
Okay. Well,
No, they don't ever get this far. We just build traps because we don't know what to do with ourselves.
That's fair.
what kind of traps do you guys have?
Okay. Let me show you. And he points to all the floor squares that everyone's avoiding. Spike trap, pit trap, falling object trap. That is an oil trap. And he points to the stairs. Arrow traps, explosive trap, and he points on the ladder. Flame trap, oil trap. And he points to the ceiling where like you see like kobolds are like working on light, like the chandeliers. He says that chandelier is the falling object, as well climbing onto it does cause it to explode. And he looks to the other and he's like, that window's trapped. It's actually an illusion. And he points to the other window and he says, that's an electrified illusion trap. And he points to the left door, which you went through but you didn't open. It's like a double door, and he opened one door and let you guys in, but he told you not to open the other door. And he says, and that door is rigged to explode.
Okay. This is all magical means, or is this?
Mixture.
Oh. Do you have any mixture for sale? Like bombs or that?
And he says, no. At least, not that I'm allowed to tell you,
Oh.
because we don't have any.
Why don't you get into farming? I mean, since all those traps are obviously unnecessary, why don't you like make your own food? I mean, you seem to have plenty of time.
We don't know how.
I'm sure the farmers could teach you. Like, I mean, you work for them. And you're pretty smart.
No.
Wouldn't that solve the problem?
It just won't work.
Why not?
Look how tiny we are.
Well, you just make tiny crops.
I'm like, look how tiny I am.
Look how big I am, and I could do it too, I think.
So I'm like, hey, here's an idea. Okay. Why don't you sell your traps to security companies or mercenaries, stuff like that? Or offer to the people, hey, I can put some security measures in certain parts of your house so that way you feel more safe. You know what I mean? You got to market yourself. And then you might actually make some extra money for the rest of your people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we already tried that. But like I said, there's no real need for to worry about crimes and stuff. The adventurers usually deal with everything.
Okay, well then you need to find somebody in town, a merchant, that can sell it for you outside of town. I know there's cities bigger than this one. You know, there's always merchants that want traps and stuff like that. You sell out, if you send out flyers or something, or you can put it up on a board or something, you got to spend some of your baubles to get in good with one merchant that can put the word out for you. Then you might be able to get work for yourself. You know what I mean? If you go out and you do the job and you do it right without any fuckery, then you might actually be able to create a business for yourself or for your people. Then you won't have to worry about asking the guards or whatever for extra work here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess we could do that.
He says, "Look, how about this? When I get back in town after I'm done dealing with the wizard, I'll talk to a merchant or two. Maybe see if I can get them to come out here and talk to you, and maybe we'll get something going." Because obviously, I was like, "Can you set off one of your traps that's not gonna kill a bunch of people, just so I can see it work?"
He kind of looks at them all. He says, "No."
Does it have a ripple effect? Does it set all of them off?
He looks at them all. He says, "That one will do it." He points at the exploding chandelier.
Okay. All right. How about this? Do me a quick favor. It says, get all your artisans together and have them make a trap for me outside of the building, just so I can see it work. Because if I'm going to sell it for you or help you sell it, I want to see it work. Is that fair?
Yeah, we can do that. It'll take like, he thinks about it. And he's like, maybe 8 hours.
Okay. I'll come back within 8 hours or so if I get done with this thing here, and I'll check it out. Okay?
Okay. Well, I gotta first petition the clan leader first, but if I do that, it should be pretty easy. He's easily attempted by gold. We should be able to get this trap done.
How much gold? Like for simple traps to show me.
And he says, a simple trap. I mean, I got some string and a bell.
No, I mean something like a pressure plate or something. Something that I can sell to somebody with buildings.
Oh, no, that'll take like 8 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So what? 5 gold pieces, something like that?
10.
10? All right. He'll give you 10.
Okay.
I'll give him 10 as an investment. This is an investment. All right. If it works, then we're good to go. And I'll put out a word. If not, well, then we'll separate ways.
He's like, all right, just watch your step.
Oh, yeah. I know where they are now. All right. I guess we should go. Go talk to this wizard.
All right. See you when you get back.
All right. Oh, one more question. Do you know what type of wizard school this wizard is in?
No.
No? All right. We'll go then. So, I want to go back to the temple before we talk to the wizard.
Okay, you leave, and it takes you an hour to get to the temple. Well, half an hour to get to the temple.
I want to talk to the cleric there, the one that blessed us or whatever.
Yeah, he's still standing there.
So, hey, there's a wizard called Gorful. You know him?
I'm not a local here, but I've heard that there was some sort of wizard that resides here. Yeah.
Who's the best person to ask about that?
Honestly, I probably talked to one of the other adventurers patrolling.
Okay. So we got a lead that might be this Gorful. This Gorful has a giant in his employ, and from what the ranger said, because the pigs were herded and then their tracks stopped abruptly, and it looked like somebody opened a portal and the pigs went through along with the giant. Because there's certain burns on the ground that are left from residual magic. The portal's open. So that's where we are right now.
Okay, he says, well, that's definitely good to hear. Yeah, I talked to one of the Cavaliers. If he's capable of opening portals and stuff, I'd have tried to avoid outright confronting him, since you're new to the profession. But if you think you can take him, by all means.
Okay. All right. So I guess if anybody else doesn't have anything to ask him, I'd probably go find. Actually, can I find that same guy that I talked to earlier, the Cavalier or the guy on the horse?
Yeah, he's patrolling the same road.
like, hey, you got a minute?
He looks over to you and he says, "Ah, it's a goblin again." And he rides towards you, and he places his lance on his lap, and he says, what would you ask of me?"
He says, first, I'm Jubei. He'll put his hand up to shake his.
He reaches down, a pretty long way actually, since he's
Yeah.
on the horse, and he shakes your hand.
It says, well, I tell him the information that I know. I said, do you know this Warful guy? Wizard?
Yeah, he has his giant move some large property around from time to time.
Okay. Well, so I'm thinking that maybe this guy, because he's tried to enlist the kobolds to do stuff for him before, and they told him no. And from what the ranger said, there was large tracks moving the pigs, and then abruptly, he thinks, and I'm pretty sure too, that there was a portal that was opened, and the pigs were pushed through it along with the giant. So I'm thinking maybe it's him because he does have a giant that is employed by him. So I'm thinking it's
Maybe I
thinking
can
it's him.
see the giant from the skies.
Yeah. What do you know of this guy that?
Well, I know that the giant and his employee wear special shoes that makes it so leaving tracks is impossible for him. Though that being said, he can take them off. They're not like bound to his feet by any means. So maybe he forgot them. I don't know. Gorful though, he's a bit eccentric, and I do think he would consider himself above the law if it came down to it.
Right.
Usually just kind of I think it's more pragmatic that he does things for other people, but from what I've seen of him, he does kind of obey the law, so I'm not really sure what to make out of him. But he is capable of using portals. I think the spell is called Dimension Door.
Mm-hmm.
So he is capable of making those doors, and if he did use them, then that would mean he would have stolen the pigs. But it seems kind of like a stretch for someone like him to steal pigs.
Right.
The kobolds said they wanted, or that he wanted them for their bodies. Maybe since he couldn't get kobold bodies, he decided on big ones.
That would make sense. If he's conducting experiments, then I wouldn't see any reason why pigs wouldn't be a good thing to experiment on.
Maybe he just wanted to pin it on the kobolds because he really doesn't like them, and the kobolds told him to F off, whatever that means.
Oh, that could have pissed him off too.
Well, I mean, if he is a little. He does have the tendency to kind of have petty revenge, but to implicate an entire group of people just for a petty crime.
Yes, but the whole group the people as a group already got the stigma on them anyway. Kobolds. So really easy.
He says, "Oh, I get that. I get that. The people around here don't really trust the kobolds, and that's because they're trap-making fiends.
But they're bored, and that's the reason why they make the traps, is because they're bored. Because they can't feed themselves because they don't get enough work. And I can understand from the guard's point of view, you don't want kobolds running around everything because they have a tendency to have like fingers. So,
Well, no, I mean the Adventurers Nexus does the patrols around here. So, and it's the Adventurers concerned about traps, the trap makers and their light fingers. They don't want to get stolen from.
right, and that's totally understandable. That's fair.
Though, if you want, there is a mayor that lives here. If you want to talk to him about employing the kobolds, then by all means, feel free to.
Oh, that sounds like a really good idea because they really seem in need of work since making crops is out of question, apparently, and they're really bored. So a job might be nice. I don't know. Give them purpose.
So, can you point me in the direction of Warhol's
So he points you to Gorval's home, and he says, right over there.
Alright. Anything I should be aware of?
He shouldn't attack you. He's easily provoked, but he'll probably throw slurs at you first before actually attacking you. Though he is no slouch. He was an adventurer before he decided to stay here.
Okay. So you think anybody has anything over him that would maybe make him do this?
I mean, he's just a poor character. Like he doesn't have much integrity, and he's easily provoked to do implicit things like this.
Aren't orcs supposed to be really stupid?
Yeah,
Huh.
typically.
Okay.
So,
Well-
well then, such means would actually make sense. I mean, if that's still a petty crime and you have some sort of lust for revenge and you're stupid, well, that would lead to someone pinning the fault on an entire tribe and wanting to eradicate them. I can see that.
I mean, you better be careful how you put that language in front of anyone else.
Well, I'm just summarizing. We were just talking about this.
Yes, but I don't know how your society handles crime and legalities, but making accusations against somebody's character like that can wind you up in jail if you're incorrect.
I just said that it would make sense. I didn't accuse anyone.
We got it. Don't worry about it. We'll handle it with with tact.
That would be wise.
All right. Guess we'll go talk to Warful.
All
Anybody
right.
else any ideas?
Let's go to the mayor first.
All right. Anybody object to going on the mayor first?
You two seem to know what you're doing. I'm just following along.
I have no idea, but I really like the kobolds having a job because they seem really bored, you know? And I don't want to be bored, and I don't want them to be bored. And maybe that will help, like, ease the tensions between them. And then they won't starve because they can make their money and buy food, you know?
Yeah, we can do that later. We need to take care of this. I don't know. Tyrion, what do you think?
Think it'd be worth paying Gorful a visit.
Yeah. How you doing, by the way? I'm Jubei.
Oh, nice to meet you. Doing good. Been wondering about the kobold tracks.
You want to go look at them again?
Something about it gave me the feeling that perhaps some of the blue kobolds made a deal with Gorful for the pigs.
Yeah.
Could explain why there were kobold tracks at the scene.
Sure. You want
They
to
were
go check around the warehouse? Because we really didn't check the warehouse. We just kind of...
It was full of traps, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we know where the traps are, supposedly.
Yeah.
But we could double check before we go talk to this dude and possibly get blown up.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, if they are as cunning as they were described, perhaps they cut a deal with him and they're shifting the blame onto him
They were very
so that
quick
they
to
can get
point
away with it.
fingers.
Yes.
I like that idea. I'm down for that. So I guess we can head back out there at night. What time of the day is it anyways?
It's late afternoon.
Okay. So I would think probably heading out there at night would probably be best, just to cover our movement.
Okay.
Also gives us a little time to maybe talk to the mayor before we get out there. That's possible.
Right.
Okay. So where are you guys going?
Actually, you know what? If there's the kobolds that are double crossing, why are we going to talk to the mayor?
Well, we're just tossing out the idea, and it's also not all the kobolds, obviously. Like, there's so many. And some of them might want this job. The ones that are not involved in this crime, maybe.
Yeah.
So it might be worth bringing it up at least, you know.
That could get the blue ones to give up the wizard or something.
Might be worth it talking to the Reds to see what their opinion is on it.
Yeah. Well, are the Reds considered stupid, or are they just bullies?
They're considered straightforward, and bullies would be an accurate term.
Okay. So if anybody is opposed, I'm probably going to want to talk to the mayor.
Right, let's head to the mayor.
All right.
Okay, so you go find this large house, and it's not a very, like, it's a manor, but it's not well kept. It's pretty dirty looking. Though that being said, there's like a lot of gardens around it, and you do see like some people tending to them. So it makes sense that's a little dirty. And when you ask for the mayor's presence, the retainer says, "I'll go fetch him."
Thank you.
And you wait for a moment, and you see this exit from the building with the retainer is this young man with blonde hair and nice blue eyes, and he looks very well taken care of. And he says, "Hello there. How may I assist you today?"
Hello. I am Jubei. These are my friends here. Tyrion, Elizabeth, and Neri, and Sukio. We are investigating the fire that happened over there in the theft of the pigs.
Yeah, right next like a fucking smoking Viverin.
Yeah.
We're investigating the fire.
So, besides that, I had an idea and a proposition for you. You care to talk for a minute?
Sure.
That involves the kobolds. And we talked to them, and it's come to the conclusion that, one, they make traps because they're bored. Two, they're looking for more work. And since the only workforce that they have is the white kobolds, and the blues and the reds seem to herd them and make them do their bidding, this also leads to them not having enough income to feed the population that they have. So with that happening, it's eventually going to come to a point where maybe they do get light hands still here and there, or maybe take animals or something like that. So The only thing that I can see besides them as a labor force that they could do is make traps, and they make them pretty well. So, do you have any ideas of how they could maybe market their traps and maybe funnel it through your office as a you get money for the city, they get money to feed themselves a little bit better, kind of maybe helps the economy around here? What do you think?
Well, that's a lot of information to take in. I'll tell you right now that we've already had this little experiment run with a couple other adventures, and it didn't go very well.
Can you give me details as to why?
Well, their traps aren't designed for transport, first of all, so they generally exploded when they're being moved,
Okay.
which was a problem. The other problem is that they continued to steal, even though they had no reason to, and they had plenty of money before. They unfortunately spent it all on crossbows and making sure that they could control their own population, which is rather unfortunate because we actually appreciated having all the white ones running around, but the red ones keep shooting them.
What? That is not nice.
Yes,
Can I-
obviously.
So without the reds and the blues, the white population is actually helpful.
I wouldn't call it helpful. They're more compliant, to say the least.
Manageable then, to a degree.
A very small degree. They're more fearful of direct conflict, but they're just as willing to steal and make makeshift traps on their own as well.
So what if they had, instead of making traps there and transporting them, what if they had a crew, maybe have one of your retainers watch them, or a crew leader or whatnot that kept an eye on them while they did the work in place, got paid, and then came back and each got your portion of the proceeds.
Yes. Again, same difference. They don't
Okay.
respect other races very much. I had tried this experiment before, and well, they ended up killing her in her sleep.
Oh,
That's not nice.
No, it wasn't even. They didn't even bother to get their own hands dirty. What they ended up doing was they ended up trapping her bed while she was sleeping.
sorry. Didn't mean to laugh. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well, was she alright afterwards?
No.
Aw.
When you wake up to a bunch of alchemist flasks landing on top of your head and then burning alive, yeah, we already tried using Speak Dead with that, and all she did was scream for about an hour. It wasn't pleasant.
I'm sorry to hear
Can
that.
I tell if he's telling the truth or if he's just
Sure. Real sense motive.
okay? It'll be a 19.
Yeah, he seems to be honest about this, at least. He doesn't seem too interested in helping the kobolds. Just bringing up the conversation has kind of changed his mood. He was pretty pleasantly surprised to be speaking with what he assumed was the investigation team. And talking about this topic in particular has kind of made him a little annoyed or frustrated. He's doing his best to keep his composure, but it's obvious to you at least.
Did you know the handler personally?
Yes, like I said, she was one of my retainers. And it's a shame to know that when her spirit is burning eternally from the pain that she endured.
My condolences. It was not our intention to upset you. We're just trying to figure out ways of getting this situation dealt with, and possibly not having to resort to annihilating creatures.
I understand, and trust me, I have no intention of allowing you to kill all the kobolds, as, of course, we still have a justice system to uphold. But I've already come to the conclusion that they're too self-righteous in their own races, and being a large group as they may, they do have the advantage of numbers. I don't exactly enjoy the idea of having to kill them all, and I'm not allowed to, legally. However, I also don't have any intention of giving them more opportunities than I already have.
Agreed.
Why are you not working with the orcs then? I mean, if the kobolds are such a hassle.
No, the orcs keep to themselves.
But wouldn't they be like a way better workforce, and they would probably not be as
I don't understand. They are part of the workforce. Unless there's something I wasn't made aware of.
Well, I wasn't aware of that, so I think you're smarter than me. That's fine. Thank you for this information, good Mayor.
Thanks.
Mayor. You're
like,
welcome.
I think we're done here. Enjoy the rest of your evening, sir. We're, like I said, we didn't come here to intentionally upset you, and I'll keep you informed on what we find and how we deal with the problem as best we can.
Right. Can you please repeat your name, because I didn't catch that?
I never asked, actually.
Yeah, I know you never asked. That's why I'm just politely saying. Trying to.
My name is Richard.
Richard. I can remember this. Richard. Nice to meet you, Richard. Have a great evening, Richard. Thank you for the information, Richard.
He just looks at you and he says, "Now I can see why everyone thinks that name's annoying."
I think it's a beautiful name, Richard. Have a great evening, Richard. Bye, Richard.
Richard Cranium.
At least you're not calling him Dick.
No.
Right.
Okay, I think we'll leave.
Right.
Okay,
Bye, Richard.
That didn't go as good as I thought it was going to go.
So it seems you've learned a lot more about these kobolds.
Yeah. So it seems to me that the blue ones and the red ones, well, they just tend to keep them in line by being bullies, but the blue ones seem conniving and possibly trying to worm their way into getting more than what they're supposed to get as befit their station, I guess. I don't know. When we talk to this Gorfall, I think he's going to say, yeah, we had an agreement with the kobolds, and now they're reneging on us. I don't know. But the only thing we can point from here is...
I think we should go talk to the red kobolds.
I was thinking we're going to go talk to the wizard first. Get his take on it.
But then we have all the information, and we have the red kobolds, the blue kobolds, the white kobolds, the humans, the mayor, and then the wizard, and then we can make up our minds and then see who's the bad guy. Guys.
Well, we don't know about the wizard. We don't know anything about the wizard except that he's a wizard, and all the shit points to him, but at the same time, you know, why would he steal a bunch of pigs? What do you think, Taryn? Elizabeth?
Not really sure what his motive could be for stealing pigs.
I mean,
Maybe to feed his giant?
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think. It was, but still, I mean, if he makes enough money doing other stuff,
Yeah, I mean, he has his own tower.
yeah, he can feed the giant. He can just cast something to feed the giant.
No way.
We're not sure either. What are you saying?
Elizabeth says, I think the kobolds are hiding more than they are telling.
Tsukio just turned into the mayor. That is so cool. Look at you being the mayor. Richard?
Yes, I am Richard. Her voice does not change to a man's at all. She's just pretending. She still has the giggly little voice.
That is so impressive. You gotta work on your voice though. You're not selling it really, but you look like Richard. That is so cool.
She laughs and drops the disguise self spell.
Sorry, I had to point this out.
Were you guys saying Cobalt Camp? Or the warehouse? Snoop around?
Red kobolds.
Let's do it.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Guess we'll head back out to the warehouse.
Are you taking the road?
We'll see why not. Of course, we could skirt the wood line. But there's no reason for us to think that we couldn't take the road.
Are we trying to be sneaky or not?
Well, halfway there, I don't think so. But, I mean, once we get closer, we could jump the wood line and start sneaking.
I mean, it's kobolds and they have traps, so I mean, that might be something to look out for, maybe, since they're really known for that. And in the sky, there's no traps, so I could fly.
Yeah, you couldn't carry all of us, could you?
No, I could just carry you. You're a Jubei. I can carry Jubeis.
Could do that. We could scout ahead. You two can
Right.
move on. But I don't want to split up the party either. Could just fly over top of you guys.
Oh, we could just be like,
Ideas?
Flying over the top of us could work, unless did the forest look like it'd be thick enough that you wouldn't be able to see through the canopy?
It's not really a forest, it's just rolling hills.
Okay.
Oh, well then, yeah, I guess we could.
And yeah, might be able to spot something from the sky.
Okay. Why don't we, that works for me then. We could just move off in the off the road, move towards the warehouse. Me and Nira can be up in the air. In case anything, Neri, sorry. We'll start calling you Nini. And then I guess we could nay nay. So yeah, I guess it's probably dark time by now, right?
It's getting close. The sun is setting.
I can see in the dark.
I can't too. I don't want them to see us like just regular normal vision flying up close to them.
Okay, so you guys start flying overhead. You wait until nighttime?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're flying overhead. How high do you want to fly?
What's your flight movement?
30.
So maybe a dash away. Can you dash in this game?
You can hustle, which is in the air is times 4 your speed.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
120 feet.
yeah, then I would keep about 100 feet above them, and then maybe about 20 ahead of them. That way, if we see anything down there, we could spot it.
We should probably stay within spell range too, in case anything happens.
How
Okay.
far can you guys see in the dark?
I
Yeah,
can see 60.
That's a very good question. We should probably not go further than 60 feet. Very good question. Get a brownie point for this. 60 feet is what I'm settling for.
Okay, works for me.
Okay, so you guys are flying about 30 feet higher than the building. You are flying overhead, and you can see all the little kobolds are sleeping on the ground. You see that the one blue kobold that seems to be waiting. Well, you can't tell if it's blue, but you can see his wings, and you can see that he's waiting for you. But there's a lot of sleeping kobolds out and around the building. Some of them are sleeping in hammocks. Some of them are just sleeping on the small blankets.
And I'm going to use message so I can whisper, like the cantrip, I can whisper a message to anyone who's 110 feet away from me. And they hear me whisper, and they can whisper back to me. So I'm going to relay that information to Sukio.
Well, if Sukio is that close to you, then the kobold can see you, the Sukio, Tyron, and Elizabeth, and he waves.
Wait, but it's 110 feet. So if we're 60 feet up and 20 feet forwards, it's still within 110 feet, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're above the building now, so they can see. The kobold can see them.
Okay, well, maybe we should send the message before we get within eye shot of the building.
Well, he's already waving at them.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, no need to tell you this information then. You know that already.
He just sees them, though, right? He doesn't see us up
He
top.
doesn't. He's not looking up. So you guys can see all around the building, and you can see that there's just kobolds everywhere. You can't really tell their colors or anything, but you can see them lying around outside. There's even some on the roof, and it looks like they're trying to watch out for things around the area. But like I said, they're not looking up, so they don't see you guys.
Okay.
And
We fly around the back of the building.
you're flying over it right now, so you can see all around it.
Can we see any signs of the pigs?
No.
I'm going to whisper that there's a lot of kobolds there. And then I want to use message, god damn it. And then Suki will hear that.
So,
All right.
Sukio and Tyron and Elizabeth, you are all the three of you are kind of walking behind them, and the kobold is waving to you guys. He says, "Hi."
I wave back. I'm like, hello. What a pleasure to see you again.
I have something to tell you.
Oh, and what is that?
Well, it's kind of secret. I need to tell you in your ear.
She'll lean over for him.
Okay, so you walk over to him.
Yep.
Wait.
All right.
Oh shit.
Make a save.
Make a dex save.
God damn it. I totally knew it.
Oh yeah. I'm rolling the same way I always do with those nat ones.
Oh, God. Why do you do this?
What fuckery is this?
So how much hit points are you standing on?
Oh, shit.
I have 15.
So you step on something, and you step on some dirt, and it's really loose, and you're like, and you don't even see the depth of like how far your foot goes in, but you just hear this cracking glass, and then you look down, and then fire erupts around you, and you take 12 points of fire damage.
Awesome. Okay.
And the kobold's like, ha, got him. He's like looking around. He's like, wait, the goblin isn't here. Dang it. So
Do
you're
we roll
on
initiative?
fire. I mean, if you want to go into combat, yeah. But there is dozens of kobolds around. So you can put yourself out if you want.
I will.
So you put out this blaze of fire on you, and you're, of course, really badly hurt. And you're pretty hurt. Yeah, you're pretty hurt and wounded, and your clothes are burnt.
You can hear Neri whisper, "Oh no, you're on fire!"
Elizabeth will run up to you and say, "Here, drink this," and I'll drink these, and she'll give you 2 Cure Light Wounds potions.
That is
1d8 plus 1 for both of them.
not bad. Okay, I'll drink them both.
Okay.
You rolled shit, didn't you?
No, actually, I didn't. Well, I rolled shit on one of them, and I rolled really good on the other. So, because I rolled an 8 and I rolled a 1.
So you heal 11 points.
Yeah. So that almost puts me back up to full. Trying to think of what I want to do to him.
He says, the kobold trap good?
Oh, it's a wonderful trap. You did such a good job.
He's starting to get nervous.
And she's going to be like, do you want to see what my traps do?
Oh shit.
Yeah. Now don't get too mad at me. The goblin fellow asked me to do that. I didn't.
While he's saying that, she's just taking a small length of chain that looks like it's just covered in blood, and she whispers at it and casts barbed chains on him.
All right. So what's barbed chains do?
It's a will save. And what is my spell DC? That's one thing I don't think I have written.
It's the spell level plus your charisma modifier, and it's added to 10.
Okay. So 10, my charisma modifier is 8. So, and this is a level 1 spell. So 19 is the
He's
save
not gonna
on
make that.
it. All right. So I'm not doing a melee attack for this. I'm just doing a trip combat maneuver. So I'm trying to trip him.
Okay. Well,
So it'd trip him, and then he's shaken.
he's already pretty fucking shaken. So
Yeah.
you trip him, and he's just shaking. He's like, "I'm sorry. It wasn't my fault. He made me do it."
And she's gonna lean over and just sort of like pet his front and be like, next time, maybe try it on the one who asked you to make it.
Well,
And then she'll turn back to the rest of them.
he just kind of, he's just he's not terrified, but he's definitely scared of you. And he picks himself up and is cowering, and kind of to like what Sandra would do if she was walking on her 4 legs. He kind of gets down on his 4 legs to cower below you, and he says, "I didn't know. I thought he was here with you."
What do you want us to do, Jubei? Like, did you see that fire trap just go off?
Yeah, I just saw that.
Should we like help them maybe? Because that's our party down there.
Yeah, I guess we need to fly down there. I was wanting to sneak up on top of the roof, but that's not going to happen.
I mean, we're making a huge sort of like thing down here. So if you ever wanted to, that would be the time.
No,
That's
I was-
actually a really good distraction. I don't know.
Yeah, some kobolds are waking up, and the guards on the roof are looking over to it.
I mean, if you wanted to hop on the roof, I could place you there. And, I mean, no one would really notice you because you're so tiny, Jubei.
yeah. Is there an opening to get in the building from the roof?
It looks like there's this open trap door.
Is that the door that was trapped or described as trapped? Can I recall this?
No, this isn't part like you. They showed you part of the 15-foot room that they all run around in.
Mm-hmm.
This building's about 30 feet tall, and the roof is about 5 feet taller than that. So this trap door, you've never seen this trap door before.
All right, so I'll whisper to Neri. Why don't you drop me by that trap door, and then you can message between me and them. I want to sneak in and see
All right.
what's going on inside.
So I'm mount now and walkie-talkie. That's awesome. I am
I wish I had taken that cantrip.
I am going to fly close to that door and undiscovered if I can. Do I roll stealth for this?
Yeah, you roll stealth.
Do I need to roll one too?
No, because
Okay.
you can't really. You're not the mobile one.
Okay.
Oh no!
Well,
I
you
rolled a 2, but it's a 9 in total. God damn it!
Oh, okay. Well, you're kind of like making a pretty direct approach, and you think they're gonna see you, but they're kind of looking out they're looking at the woman up front, kind of intimidating one of their leaders.
Oh, can I make like this cool move where I cling onto the wall, like sort of like a dragon would, or like
Sure,
a bat?
You just land onto the. Yeah, you can do that. You land.
I wouldn't even want her to land. I'd just jump off.
No, I want to land though. That's cool.
Oh, okay.
I want to do that. Let me
Okay.
do this.
Okay, so you land, and yeah, Jubei. Now you can make me a stealth check.
Okay. I got a 28.
Boop.
Well, they can't. They couldn't beat that easy. So you land and you jump off, and it doesn't even like the building has tiles for roof, but it doesn't even chink when you land, and you head towards the trap door.
Be safe.
All right, baby girl.
And she heads off again.
All right. I'll sneak inside, or I'll try and check for traps, see if there's anything right there where the trap door is before I move inside.
This is probably the funny part about this is that none of you have trap finding, so none of you are actually capable of finding traps.
Okay, can I cast? Well, detect magic wouldn't do anything, would it?
It would work on some of them, but not all of them.
Okay. I'll cast detect magic and see if I feel anything right there by the opening.
Nothing here. This is actually pretty straightforward.
Okay.
One ladder.
Well, I'll look down just to see if there's anything down there at the bottom of the ladder.
Your dark vision doesn't let you see anything. It seems pretty normal. No one's down there.
All right, then I'll flip onto the ladder and just kind of slide down it.
Okay. As you slide down the 15-foot ladder, you do start hearing the snoring of kobolds.
Okay. Like all around me?
All around in that room.
Okay. So I'll take a look in the room. What do I see? Any perception?
You see a few kobolds walking around all the other ones. This seems to be where the reds sleep.
Okay.
The sharp tooth. And you see a few of them walking around, and they're looking pretty vigilant. And some of them look to where you're hiding from time to time, and they squint in your direction, but they shake their heads and keep walking.
Quick question. Is there a shed or anything around the warehouse, like a single thing?
No.
No.
There's like these little tents.
What do they contain? Like people sleeping in them?
Yeah, there's more kobolds sleeping in them.
Oh.
They stash everything in here, in the building. So this place is pretty unkempt. Like, they have blankets laying on the floor, but they don't make neat beds or anything.
Mary's gonna contact Drew and she's gonna say, like, what do you see?
I'll relay the information to her.
Okay. The only thing that stands out is you do see a stronger looking kobold just kind of sitting on this chair. And he's kind of watching over all of them.
Okay.
And this time I'm gonna contact Tyr. Give me your name again, please.
Tyron.
Tyron. Thank you. I kept thinking Tyrion. No, Tyron. So she's gonna contact him via message, and she's gonna relay the information and inform him that Jubei's stealthing in the warehouse, trying to get more information and to keep the distraction up.
All right.
You're doing a great job.
Okay, so the blue kobold, people are waking up to obviously the flaming explosion and the intimidation that is going on outside. And he's just cowering before you.
All right. So, how easy would it be for me to get over to where the big kobold is?
Pretty difficult.
Okay. Is there any rafters up in the ceiling that I could move?
They're about 10 feet up, but you can, yeah.
All right. I'm going to try and do that so that way I can move my way over to where the big kobold is.
Okay. Roll me a climb check.
All right. That'd be a 16.
You can't find anywhere to grip the walls. The kobolds have these little, like, scratch marks that they have in the wall, but it's meant for their claws. You can't stick your fingers in there.
Okay. What about... Okay. Are most of the red kobolds situated like against the walls?
No. They're just cluttered around. Like, they're not in any particular order. Just scattered.
Any loose blankets or anything?
No. They're all sleeping on the blankets.
All right. Okay. Does your regular equipment, like when you get with stuff, does it come with a blanket in it? Or?
You'd have to buy your regular equipment. There's
Really?
no, like, starting packs.
Okay.
I have a pack. I have a sorcerer kit.
Well, yeah, there's kits, like pre-made kits, but you still have to go out and buy them. Like, your class doesn't come with starting equipment.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well then I guess I'm just gonna have to sneak over there to them.
Okay, so you're small, just like them. So every time like a kobold looks over to like spot you, you go prone behind another kobold and just they come over to like look around, but they never get close enough to actually see you, and they walk away.
Okay.
And eventually you get close to this heavily armored kobold. He doesn't seem to be paying attention to looking around, as he believes he can see everything just fine. He seems to be more in thought.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just keep moving that way until I get close enough to the large kobold.
Okay. While you're doing that, Tyron and Suyuki, what are you two doing? And I guess Elizabeth there too. What are you doing while you are kind of intimidating this blue kobold in front of you?
Well, Sukio has like pulled the hood off of her cloak, and as she did, fur starts erupting along her face, and her face starts elongating into a snout, and she gets these pointed ears, basically changing into her kitsune form. And she's got her hands, her one hand on her hip and the other hand on her staff, and she's just trying to make it a little bit of a sort of a spectacle because she knows the two of them are in there, and being like, "This was unacceptable for a trap. Honestly, a baby could have found this, and there was absolutely no way that you should have been pulling out your traps before the man who even wanted them was here. Are you incompetent?"
Roll me a deception and intimidation. Oh, poor guy.
All right. So, deception. So deception's just they're both just
Or sorry, it would have been bluff. Sorry, it's called bluff.
bluff. Okay. Bluff I can do. Bluff is 16, 19.
Okay.
And intimidate is less than that. It's only like 13.
Okay, so you actually still beat him in intimidation because he's suffering penalties from being shaken. So he's just looking at he can't even look at you anymore. You're towering over him, and he says, "Oh, you must have stepped in it. I am so sorry. I never knew anything like that would have happened. Is there how can I help you? Do you need new clothes? Do you need my shinies?" And he like offers you his like meager amount of pocket change, which is like a few coppers, like 5 silver, and more notably 3 gold and a platinum piece.
She'll lean down and be like, "Do you honestly think that piddling amount of change is going to do anything? My fur is singed. Do you see this?" And she holds out, her arm where she's got a little bit of singe marks on the fur, and be like, "Look at this. Look at this. Do you know how long I'm going to have to groom to get rid of this?"
He says, "No," and he's just trembling. He almost like it's almost so bad that he's kind of holding his head down too, like he's afraid that you're gonna hit him.
Aww.
Oh, I almost feel bad, but he also tried to light me on fire. No. So she'll turn back to her companions and just be like, "Can you believe this? Like, I'm just back. What do I even do about this? There's no way he can possibly repay me for this."
It was a rather unfortunate accident.
Accident? He tried to lure me over here into his trap. That is intent.
He says, he's taken. He's like not sure what to do, and he's like, me can be your servant, and he kind of like crawls underneath you, like he's some sort of like lost stray.
Do it. Do it. That's awesome.
He-
Gain your companion now.
he's like, me do whatever you want, anything you say.
Do it. God damn it.
He looks completely shamed.
Look, maybe there's a way you can salvage this.
Oh, anything. You just say what you want.
I need you to entirely truthfully tell me exactly what is going on here. Exactly what is going on with the farm, the pigs that were stolen, and with that wizard Gorfell.
Yeah, he quivers again, and you see him kind of talking to himself. You can roll me a persuasion or intimidation.
That's good. So that's just my charisma because I don't have it as a skill, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be 25.
Okay. So he says, yeah. We did it. The Short Fang clan. We pointed at Gorfell because we knew everyone hated him, so we thought we could make him look bad, and we stole one of his paper magics and we used it, and we did all of it. We knew that no one could track our flying, so we flew around and scared the piggies into the portal.
And she'll kneel down next to him and touch the side of his face and say, "Doesn't the truth feel better, love?"
I'm scared.
She's gonna hit me any second, right?
He's too scared to move away from you, but he's absolutely shaken. Like, he's quivering and he's not sure what to do with himself.
She will look to Karen and Elizabeth and say, "It seems like we have found our culprits."
Elizabeth kind of nods. She's even a little frightened about what's going on. And all the other kobolds are kind of like skulking now. Like, the ones that have bothered to wake up at all, they're kind of like skulking away. They're like, pick up their blankets, and they're not scared of you, but they don't want anything to do with what just happened, so they're gonna just skulk away.
Right.
Jubei,
Yes.
you are now close enough to the main leader.
Yeah. Does Neri message me this? What's going on at all? Or
I did
this
text.
before?
I did text it. Like.
I'll just say that for now, you guys are going to gain 1,400 experience for completing the mission without killing anyone.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to go now. I'm sorry, guys.
I know you. That's cool.
Yeah, just FYI, I would of course like pick you up again if that's your way out through the window, and I would like always go back and forth with the mind messages, so you would have like some sort of channel communication.
And I'll let you know if you gain any extra experience, and I'll let you know if you get anything else.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Thank you for the game.
Yes. Thanks for coming. There,
See ya.
Sandy.
Bye.
So you're now in front of this kobold chieftain, and he, being this close to him now, he does kind of look over to you. He's not entirely surprised, or he's at least keeping his calm. And he says, "You are not a kobold. You're a goblin."
He says, I'm not just a goblin. I'm the fucking goblin.
Well, what's the fucking goblin doing here?
Huh?
I'm trying to think.
What are
And
you
clearly I need to up my patrols.
He says, yeah. He says, well, you little blue fucks are trying to get you all wiped out. I tell him what happened. Did you know about it?
He's like,
Does he look surprised by it, or does he look like he didn't know?
he says, I knew about the pigs. I didn't ask for it, and I knew that they took them. But of course, they didn't tell me where it came from. Of course, now that I know that they stole it from the farmers, he looks over to the other kobolds, and he says, "It seems like they need to learn their lessons." And he says, "Wake up the other." And he looks to some of the guards and he says, "Wake up, everyone! Get them all awake. Get your crossbows ready. Those short fangs have gotten in the way for the last time, and they're getting us in trouble again." And you see the guards that are nearby are like looking over. They just finally spotted you, and they're like, "Oh shit, he's pissed." And they go and start kicking up the other kobolds.
Like, all right, as long as that's taken care of, I don't believe anybody else wants to get rid of you all. So, but this is a warning. Watch your people.
He says, "We won't need to watch the dead."
Fair enough. He says, by the way, I'm Jubei. You'll be seeing me more.
Well, Jubei, hopefully we can talk to each other on, well, not in my den.
Well, I just need you to understand where we stood. Next time I'll ask for an audience.
Good. I'll make sure that these blue kobolds won't be causing you any trouble.
And I'd like to intimidate them a little bit.
You can try.
Okay. Alright, so it's... Oh, I gotta add this up because my brain is not working all the way. So it comes out to 31.
He's not scared of you, but what exactly are you saying to him?
No, I just want my presence known, that he understands that I'll sneak up on his ass and end him. Kind of like understanding. Not trying to be a dick, but just...
Well, you're kind of being a dick. You're threatening him.
Well, yeah, I guess I am being a dick then.
He says, "We'll see about that next time. Now, get out the way you came, or I change my mind." And of course, during that conversation, a lot more kobolds are now armed with crossbows.
That's cool. I'll walk like I'm a motherfucking boss, back to the ladder, climb out, and leave.
Okay, you didn't really intimidate him, but the other kobolds they don't skulk away from you or try to hide from you, but they do kind of back away from you.
All right, and while that's happening, I'm gonna like, if I could make like my hands glow with my Elestradis kind of power.
Okay.
Because I have a fire ray that I can do, but I just want to power it up, not use it, but just have where my hands are kind of heated. and I'll shoot back up the ladder.
Okay, they're watching you, and they of course are now getting their crossbows out and getting their gear on, and
I'll see if Neri can pick me back up.
yeah, she'll, like she said, she'll pick you up and
Okay.
she'll fly you to the rest.
All right.
So while you're flying there and you're just landing, the blue kobold is like even more scared now. Like he's actively frightened, and he says, can we go? I'm scared. Can we please? I'll be your servant." Just,
Oh, you can go. You don't have me to worry about anymore.
he's not scared of you.
I know he's not scared. Not yet.
He's like looking up at the now Kitsune in front of him. He says, "Let's go, please."
She'll nod at him and pat his head and be like, you can come with me. But if you ever try to cross me,
I'll be a good servant. I'll do anything you want. Just let's go.
Smart choice.
And as he's kind of trying to hurriedly get you all to leave, you can start hearing, it's quiet at first, and you guys start hearing crossbow fire, and then you hear the kobold, like you hear kobolds screaming, and then there's this huge fight breaks out, and you see like explosions going off on the inside, and you see the chandelier falling through from the window, and it just explodes, and there's this huge fight breaking out.
I'll look at what you call it? Dale, what's your character's name? It's Tsukio, right?
yep.
I'm like, hey, if you want to keep this one, we need to leave now.
Yes, I think our work here is done.
Yep. All right. So I guess we'll head back to town to the priest. Let him know what's going on. Or do we report back to him and let him know, or we just go back to Sergeant?
You can talk to him. He's kind of your person on the site.
Okay.
He's like your boss temporarily.
All right. Well, we'll go talk to him then.
Okay, so you meet the priest of Shanti, and he's standing there.
He's like, well, we found out what happened. This is the Blues made it look like the wizard was in it. They stole one of his dimensional door scrolls. They herded the pigs through the door, and they did this all on their own, the Blues. But I believe that is not going to happen anymore because the Reds are taking care of business at the moment. I believe the only survivor of the Blues is this one right here, which is indebted to Tsukio here.
Yeah, he's kind of walking. He's never, during the entire trip, he's never left your side. He's holding onto your leg with both of his claws. And like you don't have to lift him up or anything. Like he's not like riding your foot or anything, but he is just kind of like holding on to it. He's even kind of leaping with each step that you take.
And she's pulled up her hood and gone back to human form on the walk, and she reaches down every so often and just pats his head, like, good dog, but not saying good dog.
So I'll tell you what his name is and what his abilities are when I get more time to actually make him.
Awesome.
He's a winged kobold, so there's that. And so he confesses to like the crime that he helped commit, and as he's like talking to them, the cleric says, "Well, it seems that we found out the criminals, and they've dealt with themselves." And as he says that, you guys hear this emergency alarm going off as you run out to investigate, and you see that the warehouse is on fire.
Mm.
Of course, with all those explosives inside detonating in a wooden building, it was bound to happen.
Yeah, should have saw that coming.
Oh, the mayor should be happy. We took care of his kobold problem, and they took care of it themselves, actually.
Actually, I'll probably stop at the mayor's and let him know too, if he doesn't already know. On the way out.
You don't have to tell him. He says, "I'll deal with any politics that happens here. Your job here is done. I'll let him know, and I'll let you all get on with your business."
I'll put out my hand. Good working with you.
He says, "Just rest here for a day, and I'll bring the reward to you."
All right. Is there billets here for us, or do we need to go into town and get a room?
There's beds here. I've made
Okay.
sure of that. So
Great.
you go. He leads you to this room, and there's 5 medium beds, and you can fit into them all pretty easily. There is like a small lockbox beside each one of the beds in case you want to store anything or put anything inside. They're enough to store your equipment in, and there's even little armor stands in there for people who wear bigger armor.
Yeah.
I'll
He
grab
says-
some extra blankets and make like a little bed for the kobold on the side of my bed.
Yeah, he is like sleeping he is curled. When you go to sleep, he's still wearing his like little robes, and he's just curled up by your foot.
Cool.
So you guys rest for the night, and I will give you guys another 600 XP
Cool.
for completing the full task, which was potentially dealing with the kobolds, which you did. You figured out the true culprits, and you convinced them to deal with their own problem, though it was quite violent manner. You don't believe it could have gone any other way without involving outsiders.
Yeah.
You wake up the next morning, and there's this wooden chests with gold trims inside.
Cool.
They must have really sneakily brought this in. I didn't wake up at all.
So when you guys go there's this inconspicuous gold trimmed wooden chest just sitting in the middle of the room. Any investigation would just tell you that it just popped there, like it just mysteriously arrived.
All right, I'll go to open it.
Huh.
Okay. So Jubei, you walk over and open it, and there's this you've seen the summoner firsthand, and you see that energy kind of manifesting inside too.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't see anything inside besides this just space. What do?
I'll reach my hand into it.
You reach your hand into it, and you feel an object.
All right, I'll grab a hold of it, pull it out.
The dick in a box.
You pull out this mask, and it's a pretty scary looking mask. It kind of looks like an Oni. It's got a white face and red features, and you can sense magical energy off of it.
Okay.
It gives you a +4 to intimidate.
Cool.
So just this little kind of intimidate, like scary mask. You can put it on, and it gives you a +4 enhancement bonus to intimidate.
All right, I'll put it on.
Yeah, it kind of, when you put it on, you can kind of feel it, this energy like attach itself to your head, and it's you toying it with it around, like just trying to adjust it. You can do, but it takes a little more. Rather than normal masks, there's no like strap or anything, and it seems to kind of magically cling to your face. But you can take it off at any time. It takes a little more effort, so you can, like, if you were walking or something hit you in the head or something, it's not going to knock off. But if someone were to try to intentionally pull it off, or you taking it off yourself, you can easily do so.
Okay.
Suki will clap when she sees you put on the mask and be like, "Ooh, it gives me shivers. You're so intimidating."
Thank you, my love. Thank you.
When looking at the Oni mask, it does, like, this small manifestation of this scary face comes out. So, like, it doesn't look like the typical mask, like something that you're scared of kind of forms around it. So, like, say if you were scared of wolves, like the mask would kind of shape itself into this, like it would gain a little snout and would kind of gain features of that type. So it shape shifts very minor details, but it does have small shape shifting abilities, though it's not on command, and Jubei, you wouldn't ever notice it. Just when you wear it, you just notice that when you wear it, people are a little more intimidated by you.
Could it shift into the face of a specific person or anything like that, or is it not that detailed to shapeshift?
It's not a chosen object. It's whatever the person is more like afraid of. You can choose not to use it or to use it. You don't need to spend any actions using it, but it will take shape of whatever the person is afraid of. And again, it's minor details. It's not like anyone looking on it would be like, okay, he's not trying to scare me with it, but it's kind of freaking me out.
Okay. I'll stick my hand in there again. If there's nothing else, then I'll close the chest.
When you pull your hand out, the energy disappears.
Okay.
Though when you attempt to close it, it refuses to be closed. It feels like it's expecting more people.
I'll turn to everybody else and say, well, I believe one of you is up next. And I'll go back over to where my bed was. And I'll just flip the mask where it's sitting on top of my head.
Okay. Just looking at it yourself, it just looks like a typical mask. Though you do sense the magical energy of it.
I like it.
Who's gonna stick their hand in next?
You gonna do yours with Neri, like later on?
I'll give her some. Well, she'll walk over, seeing that you got something nice out of it. She's gonna stick her hand into there, and she's gonna pull out this I'll say she pulls out this kind of, it's supposed to be like a bracer, but because her arms don't really support that, it's more like an anklet.
Okay.
And she puts it on because she's hoping something cool happens.
Yeah.
And she feels a little lighter.
Oh, I bet she's gonna love that.
So she ends up like jumping in the air, and she can jump pretty high. She's not a weak creature by any means. when she
Right.
jumps, you notice that she kind of like slows, like while she's jumping, she falls slowly.
Very cool, Neri.
And she just kind of, she's so enthused about this that she goes outside and she starts flying around and testing it out. And she like purposely falls at one point, and you see her just, it looks like she's gliding, but she's not even having like her wings like even put any effort in. She just has them out.
Cool.
All right, who wants to stick their hand in next?
All right, I'll go up and stick my hand in.
Okay, you go stick your hand in, and you pull out, you grab one item, and you pull out, I'm gonna say a quiver of bolts. They're all +1 bolts.
All right. Nice.
So you do feel the urge to kind of put your hand in again. And so when you do pull out these goggles. And the goggles are kind of like, you wouldn't typically, like, they're kind of a strange magic item because it looks like it's like the fake mustache glasses, but when you put them on, you can see in like the dark corners of the room very well. Though it's got like this dwarf beard going on. And it doesn't even like, and when you put the goggles on completely and like fit them on, you can feel like the beard, like again, just kind of like the mask, it kind of attaches itself, and the beard, even though it still looks kind of like glossy, like it's clay or something, it still kind of like flows a bit.
Huh.
So it does kind of like have this strange illusion effect on it, though anyone can tell by looking at it, it's fake.
Interesting.
Oh, Jubei, look at his face. It's so wonderful. She's just sitting on the bed, like, encouraging everybody on, like, this is great. This is a fun show.
Oh, definitely not gonna be wearing these all the time. Hey,
So
how many bolts are in the quiver?
there's 20.
Okay.
More can fit in there, but there's only 20.
Elizabeth, darling, why don't you go next?
She said, "Oh, sure, I guess I can try." And she walks over and she sticks her hand in, and she gets this large basket. And the basket, she is kind of confused by it, but when she kind of reads its magic, she pulls out this kind of like, she pulls out like a pre-made sandwich. And she's like, "Oh, that's nice." And then she sits down beside you. Like she doesn't sit down beside you. She puts the sandwich in the basket down and she reaches into it again. And she pulls out a pretty large looking potion. It's a little larger than a typical Cure Light Wounds potion. And she reaches in again and pulls out another potion that has this white kind of, I would say white liquid color in it. It has some it has like what looks like little pieces of metal and wood in it, and even like a feather floating around in there.
Cool.
So you're the only one left to reach into the strange, glowing, empty space that is inside the chest.
What can I find in here?
So you stick your hand in there, and you're gonna pull out this strange deck of cards.
Huh. This is interesting. Can I pull out any of the cards?
You pull out one card, and it has you pull out a card, and you're looking at it, and you feel, just by holding it, you feel more cunning somehow as you look at the one front side of the card, and it shows like a typical card. And then you flip it over, and then it has this joke. It's also a joker on the other side, and you're like, I swear that was just the back end of a card. And then you flip it back over, and it gives you, and then it has this like image of a thumbs up. And the cards keep changing no matter like how many times you open them. Though when you open up the full deck, they act normally. It seems to be a very tricky deck.
She'll turn to the rest of the group and be like, and pull a card with a flourish and just be like, look at this one. She has no idea what it's doing. Like it seems really, really fun and really interesting. But she's not entirely sure what it does, but it seems right up her alley, like Trixie.
It gives you a +4 competency bonus to your bluff.
Nice.
Or not competency bonus, because then it falls with your class skills. Enhancement bonus.
Awesome.
And you give a card to Jubei, and if he wants to pick the card up, he'll pull it out, and it'll just the card has a typical back end, but when you look it over, it has 5. It's like it has 5 middle fingers pointing out towards you, and they're just spinning.
I laugh and I'm like, this is definitely a fuckery card.
So the cards can pretty much assume any shape and that you want, though the only downside to them is that if you fail to use them, or say you fail the bluff and you're using them, then they can kind of just show whatever image that they want. And that's kind of up to DM disposal.
So I could cheat at cards really well with these. It could be like, look, I got 4 aces.
What the fuck? Yeah,
and it's gonna be hard for me to fail at bluff with a +16 to bluff.
So if you so that's basically it. You can use them to cheat in cards, in simple card games, but just by holding them, you get the +4 bluff bonus.
Could I pretend to be like a tarot reader and have like fake tarot come out on it?
Yeah, they're pretty large cards. Like they could be if you use them properly, they could be mistaken as tarot cards. Though
awesome.
anyone using them would know otherwise. Like anyone who's actually uses them a lot.
Yeah. But if I just went up to the farmer and was like, "Let me read your fortune," I could be like, "Oh, there's the hangman. There's."
Yeah, he'd be right fucked.
Awesome.
So you guys are enjoying all your little gifts and your little gabs, and once Yuki takes your hand out and starts playing with the cards, the chest closes shut abruptly, and the same space that was inside of it kind of expands outward and consumes the chest, and then just evaporates, like turns into this mist and then just disappears.
Awesome.
The priest enters and he says, "Well, that all went really well. I talked to the mayor, and he's kind of noticing all your new belongings, and he says, "Right. Anyways, I've been speaking to the mayor about your potential rewards, and he's decided that he's going to give all of you, the three of you, 400 gold, and he gives the elites their like 400 gold coins in these small lock boxes.
Hmm.
They're barely large enough to fit any more than that, so they're pretty large, but not like a huge chest or anything like that."
Okay.
And he says, as for you, Tyron, he gives you a chest of 200 gold,
All right.
and he looks to Elizabeth and he says, "And here you go." And he gives her a smaller lockbox with 100 gold in it. And he says, "That's payment for everything."
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So as you've probably guessed, the Sharptooth clan has completely eradicated the Shortfang clan, so they are not. You probably won't be seeing any more of them anytime soon.
Not fully eradicated. I've got one.
He says, "I'm not part of that clan anymore."
No, you're not. You're part of my clan.
He's like, "Oh, what clan is that?"
The Foxy Ladies?
I like that.
He's like, "All right, I'm part of the Foxy Ladies clan." And he's a little amused by the idea, but he kind of accepts his role. And the priest says, "The gate is still open for you. I've sent word to leave the crack open.
Say
There'll
crack.
Yeah, because you cracked the gate open."
I know. Just saying crack. Never mind.
Okay. So he, after giving you your rewards, he says, "Now, good luck out there and stay safe."
See you around, brother.
So you head over to the gate, and the gate here is like there's this like wall, kind of like the part of the city that's inside the Nexus, and it's got two large towers, and there's no golems on this side, so you see this like kind of like dapper looking person standing there. He looks human, but he seems pretty experienced. And he says, "You ready to go through?"
Ready and willing.
And he rings this tiny bell on his side of the door, and the door cracks open.
Okay.
And he says, "Hopefully you'll be able to make a visit again sometime soon."
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll be back pretty soon.
All right, you guys go through, and Neri and Elizabeth and your kobold friend's a little nervous, but kobold companion's a little nervous, but he is already kind of like attached to your legs, so he's not letting go anytime soon. And you go through the door, and you arrive back in this that magnificent city that's just called the Adventurers Nexus. And Sergeant Pennyworth is waiting for you on the other side, and he says, "Well, that didn't take you too long." And he looks at this kind of like mobile sundial that's on his hand, and he says, "Looks like it took you about 1 hour."
Well, that was a pretty long hour then.
Seems about right.
He says, "Time dilation, stuff like that. Wizard stuff. I know how to say the term. I don't exactly know what it means."
Of course.
And he says, "Good. Now, I've been authorized to give you guys these. And as elite members, you already had like these little cards that they give you.
Mhm.
And that it allows you to purchase normal magic items. He says, "Give me your cards," and you give them these blue cards that you had before, and then he gives you these purple cards. And he says, "Now you're allowed to. Now you're now ready to purchase rare magical items. I'm sure you don't have the gold for them, but know that you are capable of buying them now."
Sounds great.
Excellent.
He turns to Tyron and he says, "As for you," he pulls out. He puts the other 3 blue cards into his belt pouch, and he pulls out another one, and he gives it to you. And he says, "As a seasoned adventurer yourself, you've already proven that you're quite capable of buying and maintaining your own equipment. Well, you've now have to add something else to the responsibility. You're now able to buy common and uncommon magical items." And he gives you the blue card.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Elizabeth is kind of looking over at him, and she's like, "I don't get a card." And he looks over to her, and he says, "I understand you're a capable craftsman, but as an adventurer, you're not quite as capable and not trustworthy enough to purchase magical items. Though, considering your line of work, crafting magical items wouldn't be an issue for you anyways." And she kind of scratches the back of her head nervously. And he looks to the rest of you and he says, and of course, Neri has gotten a new card, though she needs a little help putting it in her fucking pouches, in case her arms do not bend that way.
I'll help her.
And he says, "Good work. You don't need to worry about debriefing us. The priest of Shanti has already spoken to us."
Okay. Works for me.
And he says, "Good luck out there. And you're dismissed."
Okay.
And he salutes all of you by putting his hand flat to his forehead and standing nice and straight.
All right, I guess I'll mirror it. Give him the same thing.
I'll mirror it as well, and
Yep.
I'll make sure that my little kobold does as well.
Yeah.
So he
I'll
doesn't really get the idea, so you kind of just shove him with your foot, and he's like, "Oh," and he does it. And Elizabeth, of course, just gives him her own bow and doesn't do the salute. And Neri tries her best, but given her awkward form, she's
Smacks me in the back of the head with the ring.
yeah, smack. Ow. And with that, you guys are free to roam the Adventurers Nexus again, and the Elestradis farm is free for you guys to visit.
Nice.
Cool.
So, the Elestradis farm, as you've all noticed, is a simple farmstead. There's no proper guards, and adventurers are hired out regularly to act as guard practices to take out. As you noticed, many of the guards there are actually quite capable adventurers and are typically range from level 7 to 11. They defend the farm from giants for the most part, and giant monsters that are basically just looking for an easy meal.
Mhm.
So if you want to use that as just a way to start trouble, then by all means.
Awesome. All right. Well,
Other
I have to run right now because I got another game. But
Yep.
Thank you so much for the game.
No problem.
Oh
That
yeah,
was a lot of fun.
that was.
And I'll talk. So again, thank all of you for joining, and I'll see you guys in hopefully the next game.
You know this.
Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, later. Have a good one.